Greetings, greetings, greetings. It is LaShun, holistic health practitioner with Woman of Ankh Healing Center and Ankh Academy of Holistic Healing. I'm just signing on. I haven't did a live in a couple of weeks now, so until someone hops on, I'm just going to share some information as to what's going on within Woman of Ankh Healing Center. Just recently I posted a retreat that's coming up soon. That is the that is the summer solstice retreat. I'm a little bit thrown off, but that's the summer solstice retreat, and that's going to be on June the 25th. The summer solstice is actually on the 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there, but that's midweek. So I will be doing the retreat on that Saturday, which is the 25th. And I want to say it's from 6 to 9 p.m. On that retreat. We will be doing a yoni steam. We'll have a healing circle. Of course, we'll have refreshments, a release ceremony. It'll be a nice time. Okay. And for those that might be interested in becoming a Woman of Ankh practitioner, you can go to Ankh Academy of Holistic Healing.com, and you can get more information in regards to the program for Ankh Academy of Holistic Healing, to see what you would actually be learning with that. It is a 12-month course. I revamped it. There's a lot of information that I have to share, and I could not do that within a 6-week or 8-week time frame. I want you to be thoroughly trained, and that's the reason why it is now 12 months. It'll be 11 months in the classroom, and then you'll train at Woman of Ankh Healing Center. And I'm excited about that. The first class actually starts January the 5th, 2023. Okay. I see I do have a couple of people that are online, so I'm going to go ahead on and get started. So what today's video is about, it's about healing. And how this video came about, I was speaking with my coach. I have a coach. I was speaking with my coach the other day, and she was asking me a series of questions, and she asked me what was healing to me, like what was the definition of healing. And I told her, and she was like, that's actually really beautiful, and that's something you should share. So that is the reason for this live this evening. Is I wanted to share part of the discussion that I had with her, and how I came up with the definition of healing. In 2017, I went to a healer's retreat in Sedona, Arizona. It was led by this wonderful lady. Her name is Mercedes Warwick. You can actually find her on Facebook, but her name is Mercedes Warwick, and she's a channel, so she can channel information from the universe. And it was an awesome experience, being in her presence and her doing some miraculous things. So at the retreat, though, before we could get started with anything, it was a group of healers. I think it was 8 women in the group. It was a group of healers, and we all came together because healers need healing as well. They need care too. If a person is functioning as a healer for other people, if they're not going to get service themselves, they're doing their clients a disservice. Hurt healers hurt people. So you always want to be doing something to uplift and move yourself forward on your own healing journey. So at the beginning of the retreat, we sat down and we had to come up with a definition of what healing was. And at the end of that discussion, what we said was healing, to go from a undesirable space to a more desirable space. That was the definition of healing. And ever since then, ever since 2017, that's what I've been using when it comes to healing. So if a client comes into me and they're in a space that's undesirable, my passion, my job, my mission, my goal is to get them a little closer in the other direction. I want them to be better than when they came in. So coming from an undesirable space to a more desirable space. And when you get to that more desirable space, after a while, you're going to want something that's even more desirable than that. And that's what pushes you along on your healing journey. So I remember when I first started my journey 10 years ago, when I first started my journey, and I used to hear words like, healing and, doing all these things and meditation. And I was like, well, what is healing and what do I need to heal from? Some people really don't think that they have anything that they need to heal from. And I was one of them, as a matter of fact. I was dating this guy, and he was like saying I had issues. And I was like, I don't have any issues. And he was like, yes, you do. And most of us have issues. So those issues, that energy that we're carrying, is what we need to heal from. And just to kind of give you a couple of examples, overgiving. Some people just give. That is an issue. Why are you overgiving? Why do you have to overgive? Why does that make you feel good? Or why does it make you feel bad when you don't give? Overgiving. People pleasing. Always trying to not have anybody to be mad with you. You want everybody to like you. That's an issue, and that's something that you should, heal from. Low self-esteem and low self-worth. That's self-explanatory. Saying yes when you really want to say no. A lot of people doing that just because they don't want to kind of upset or rock the boat. They'll say yes to something when they really want to say no. Giving of your time and energy, especially to people who are not returning those things in return. That's something, or an energy that you're carrying, that you need to heal from. Self-hate, negative self-talk, toxic relationships, and something that's kind of right in your face would be abuse, whether that's domestic violence, whether that's molestation or rape, or any kind of situation that you might have experienced in the past like that. If you've ever had an abortion, that's a traumatic experience, not just for you, but for your body and especially your womb space as well. That's actually an energy that needs to be cleared and needs to be healed from. So what happens when we start carrying all these different energies and we're not cleansing and we're not clearing ourselves and we're not balancing ourselves out or bringing harmony within ourselves? We start to have things like being overweight, having anxiety, depression, negative self-talk that's out of this world, attracting toxic relationships, toxic people to ourselves. Just the list can go on and on with what happens when you're not dealing with the energy that you're carrying. But sometimes you don't know that you're carrying certain types of energy. You don't know it. How women usually end up at Woman of Ankh Healing Center, I guess there's a little beacon that I have. A little beacon, a little light that's shining that brings them to me. And as soon as they come in, I can feel that there's an energy on them that needs to be released. So that's a great segue into what I wanted to talk about next, releasing that energy. There's all different types of ways that you can release the energy. Some people might, choose to go into counseling with the therapist. You might be doing your own self-work. There's nothing wrong with that, but I do think sooner or later you will need some type of assistance from a therapist or working with a skilled practitioner like myself. When women come into me, I sit down with them, I talk with them, I do a detailed assessment to see what possible energies that they could be carrying, and then coming up with a plan as to how we can start to release that energy, start moving it around. So whenever you come to Ankh Feminine Wellness, whenever you come to Woman of Ankh Healing Center and we do a release ceremony, it's to release some of that energy that you're carrying. Just as simple as sitting and writing down an experience you might have had, or something that just didn't go quite right, or writing about your feelings, getting those things out. you would be amazed as to how good that will make you feel. Whenever I do a release ceremony with my clients, especially when we're doing the one-on-ones, I'm taking pictures of them the entire time, and you can see the energy being lifted off of them, or that relief that they're getting once they submit that release list into the universe. You can actually see it. I actually did a comparison one time while I was working with a young lady. From the first time she came in and did a release ceremony, to the second time, to the third time. By the third time, she started to look like a completely different person. So that release ceremony is off the chain. It really does help to shift your energy and help to put you in a better space, to move you along that healing journey. You're here, let's move a little bit further, until you start to function in the highest version of yourself. I remember when I used to hear that, well, what is the highest version of myself? What does that really mean? The highest version of yourself is that part of you that's in there, that's pushing you on your healing journey. That most authentic part of yourself, that part of yourself that wants you to shine and be bright, that's your most authentic self. But because we are weighed down with the energies of this world, of our lives, from the day that we was born, people telling us who to be, how to be, what to do, how to do it, all of those things keep you from being your most authentic self. So then you get around, well, I'm quite sure it happens for different people at different ages, but I know I was around the age of 39 to about 40, and I was like, well, who am I? Well, what do I want to do? What am I really passionate about? What's really going on in this world? You start soul searching. You start looking for meaning. You start looking for meaningful connections, and, wanting to be around people that are similar to you. So your soul is then reaching out, looking for that little beacon of light, looking for my light, looking for other practitioners' light, because someone can help to start to pull off the layers so that you can get that energy off of you that's holding you down, so that your light can shine and you'll be further along on your healing journey. That's what healing is all about. It's all about peeling off the layers. It's all about releasing all the energy, the people, the places, the things, the ideas, the situations, those things that have not been for your greatest and highest good, so that you can be the highest version of yourself, so that you can be your most authentic self, so that you're not being a people pleaser. You're able to express yourself. Your thoughts are not just negative and always weighing you down. You don't let people speak to you certain ways. You're practicing self-love. As one of my mentors used to always say, self first, but not self only. Meaning, I'm going to take care of myself first. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to do for you, but it's all about me first. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish. There's nothing wrong with honoring yourself before you honor someone else. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't care who that person is. There's nothing wrong with honoring yourself before you honor someone else. Nothing wrong with it. Oh, my last little note that I had here, it was said, how do you shift your energy? Some of the things that I just talked about. Number one, well, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I did that helped me to shift my energy. The first thing was that I was going to small group retreats. I want to say that was a saving grace for me. I started taking different classes along the way that actually helped me to learn more about my spiritual body, not just my physical body. I knew a lot about my physical body because I spent about 20 years in traditional medicine. So I knew a lot about my physical body and how it works, but incorporating and knowing how your spiritual body or your energy body works in conjunction with your physical body is on a whole nother level. That's actually one of the things I'll be teaching in my Woman of Practitioners course, okay? Just had to put that out there. But but participating in retreats. Yoni steaming has been a big healing tool for me, and that's why I use it in retreats. That's why I use it on one-on-one basis, because your womb space, or at your sacral chakra, that space holds your emotions and it holds your history as well. So connecting with that energy, helping to bring forth information that can assist you right now in this time and space. Your womb is very, very powerful. Matter of fact, the last retreat that I had, I did a new womb meditation, and it was a couple of ladies that had already been there that I've done a meditation with before, but I changed it up a little bit, and they told me they was able to bring forth things that they hadn't been able to bring forth before, and then they were able to release those things in the fire. It was actually two ladies that told me that. So some good things are happening at Woman of Ankh Healing Center. If you haven't been to a retreat, I highly recommend coming to a retreat. If you don't want to do that, just go to the website, www.womanofankh.com. Sign up for a one-on-one personal session with me, so that way you can get started on your healing journey and start moving into a better space, into a more desirable space, to where you're going to feel lighter, to where you're going to start to feel more like your authentic self. But I want to tell you this, because it happened to me, and I know it happens to a lot of women once they decide that I want to feel better within myself, within my body, within my spirit. You'll start taking steps, and you'll get scared. You'll get scared. You'll stop. You might get thrown off for a month or two, or a year or two. You might get thrown off for a while. But you'll always have to keep going. In the beginning stages of my healing journey, I used to sign up for classes and retreats, and a couple of times I didn't go because of the fear of being judged, or just not knowing what was going to happen on the other side of everything. That's that anxiety. Just not knowing what was going to happen on the other side. So I wouldn't go, I wouldn't show up. I done spent my money. But I remember when I finally did show up to one, I was in the car trying to talk myself out of going to this retreat that I had paid like $700 for. But I was trying to talk myself into not going. But I was in the car, still moving forward, still trying to get to that more desirable space. I was crying and everything in the car. I had to get myself together. And then when I walked in and I went through the retreat, I came out feeling lighter and better than when I went through those doors. I wanted my healing. You gotta want it. You gotta want the best for yourself. So as you go along your healing journey, just know that there's going to be some days when you're not going to want to do it, when you're going to want to turn around and say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll catch the next class or something like that. I encourage you to push forward, to move forward, because I promise you, on the other side of that, you will be in a more desirable space. I can promise you that. Okay? Okay. Oh, I got all of that out. Let me see. There was yes, a fight against the ego is honey, the ego can win a lot of times, but we just have to push forward. One of the things I want to say about the ego, though, the ego is trying to keep you safe in a way, which is interesting, that it's trying to keep you safe by you not moving. But by not moving, you don't get to experience everything that you can experience in this lifetime. So you really do have to push forward. I've had some conversations. That's exactly how I felt after leaving my first Yoni retreat. Yes, Carlos, I remember. I remember. I've had to have conversations with ladies prior to retreat sometimes, to let them know that, no, please just take this step, because on the other side of it, you will feel a whole lot better. You'll be glad that you came. I've never went to a retreat and felt like I just shouldn't have went to that retreat. It might not have always been the best retreat, but it was always something that I learned from that retreat. Something else I want to say too, I've been to a lot of retreats, and I still go to retreats because I still have to work on myself. Still have to work on, my journey to being the highest version of myself. So I still go to retreats. I've been to good retreats, bad retreats, and retreats in between. Because I've done that, I feel like my retreats is off the chain. And that's because I've been in retreats where there was been too many people, so I try to keep the size of the group low. I've been where, you really didn't get, everything that you might have should have gotten in that retreat. So I try to make sure that when you come to Woman of Ankh Healing Center, it actually is about your healing. It actually is about you moving forward and taking those steps, a step, and being the highest version of yourself. I know that I'm not supposed to always be with you your entire journey. Sometimes I'm just a little conductor on your railroad or on your bus stops that's going to help you to get to the next one. Okay? Okay. Anyone have any questions? I do see there's like 3 people. Any questions or comments or anything like that? While I'm waiting to see if anyone has any questions or comments, just remember, coming up soon, the Summer Solstice Retreat is on June the 25th. That's going to be a really good retreat because I'm going to be doing a special meditation for that, because summer is all about growth. It's all about getting ready to go into the harvesting season, but during the summer everything is green, plentiful. It's all about growth. So we're going to capture some of that energy in our womb space. We're going to we're going to do some things that's going to assist you into going into the fall for manifestation and for the harvest. So that's what we'll be doing at this retreat. It's $111, 111, baby. And we'll have refreshments. We'll do a release ceremony. It's going to be an awesome night. And I think it's only for 10 women. So it's only for 9 women, because I have 9 yoni seats. So it's only for 9 women. So if you're interested in that, please go over to womanofankh.com and go ahead on and reserve your space with that. If you're interested in becoming a Woman of Ankh practitioner, please go to Ankh Academy of Holistic Healing. Read what you'll be learning as a holistic practitioner with that certification. Well, with that title, you'll actually have 3 different certifications that'll come under that. You'll be a Yoni Steam practitioner, a detoxification specialist, and you will be a fireboard release specialist as well. Those are the certifications that you'll have, but you'll learn so much more than that. I always feel like when I'm teaching, I have to give you everything that I have. And if I don't give you everything that I have, I haven't done my job. My job is to help you to be better than me. It really is. It's to help you to be better than me. Hey, Aunt Jenny, that's my aunt down there. Okay, so I didn't see any questions or anything come up, but I want to say thank you for everyone that's on the live. Thank you to anyone who listens to this after the live. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions or anything. And for those who just coming in the beginning, this was about what is healing. My definition of healing is going from a undesirable space to a more desirable space. And that might only be a few steps along the way, but it's going to always be a space that's more desirable for you. And how do you start getting closer in your healing journey to being your most authentic self? By peeling off the layers and by releasing the energy that's attached to you in the form of the different things that you might be doing and don't even know that you're doing. The people pleasing, the over giving, saying yes when you really want to say no. And then you have those outward symptoms of the anxiety, the depression, the negative self-talk. All those things come with needing to heal. Okay, so I want to thank you. I appreciate your time. I'm quite sure I'll be back next week. I'm getting back into doing my lives again every week now. And until then, have an amazing Thursday. Thursday is the day of Jupiter. Jupiter is all about philosophy. It's all about knowledge. It's all about So on Thursdays, my point is, on Thursdays, sit down, read a book, meditate, and pull some of this great energy out of the universe. Okay? So until next week, have an oh, how do you know if you're a healer and if it's the right time to help others? Some people, I've met people along the way that just knew that they was healers. How did I get to be in the space that I'm in? It just happened for me over time. What 10 years ago, when I first started my business, I started out doing nutrition and weight loss. What I'm doing right now is not anything I would have ever dreamed that I would have been doing. I always worked in traditional medicine, phlebotomy, being a medical assistant, nutrition. But slowly but surely, as I don't know if you was in the beginning of the in the beginning of the video, but in the beginning of the video, when I was talking about what happens is people will start soul searching. You don't even know that you're really doing it, but there's something that, people start getting in alignment in your path and different things like that. So if you're asking that type of a question, then you probably are a healer, but you might not have the confidence to know and believe that you're a healer. And that's what the Woman of Ankh Practitioners course is all about. Helping you to develop your skills, to master your skills as a healer. That's what it's about. When I first started servicing or having clients, I took different classes with different healers themselves, but I took what I learned from them and I made it into what it needed to be for me, with the assistance of Spirit, the Most High, God, however you want to say it. There's some things that I do that was given specifically to me. The women that I train, I'm going to give them what I've learned, but Spirit is going to start working with them, and they're going to come up with their own natural, innate way that they're going to do things as well. So if you're asking that question, I would say that yes, ma'am, you are a healer. It's just a matter of you being groomed and, being able to flourish and master your craft at this point. And then, there's something in you that needs to come out, How do you know if it's the right time to help others? They're going to start showing up at your door. They're going to start showing up at your door. But when something that happened with me, once they start showing up at your door, if you really don't have a solid foundation as to what services you want to offer, how to offer them, you'll feel inadequate. You'll feel inadequate, like you can't help them. But believe me, there's a light in you that's shining to them, and that's why they're there. There is a way for you to help them, some way for you to help them. So if a person knows that they want to go in and be a holistic healer, they need to start training. They need to start picking up different modalities along the way. I've met some of the classes that I've taken with people. I learned how to make spiritual baths. I learned how to do yoni steaming, of course. I learned Reiki. I learned Sikkim energy healing. I learned another energy healing system as well, but I don't use that. Sound bowls. I learned all these healing modalities along the way. I didn't say, at one time, hey, I'm just going to go and take all of these different classes. They just came at the right time and in the right moment. So I guess at the end of the day, as a healer, the universe is going to make a way for you to assist and help to raise the vibration of this earth. So there's a way it's going to be made for you. I've heard I was a healer in a past life, and in this life too. So it ain't. We repeat things over and over and over and over and over again. So yes, if you was a healer in another life, I'm quite sure you are a healer in this life as well. So stop questioning yourself about it and start just getting on the path to to where you can feel more comfortable with actually assisting people, because right now you might not have the knowledge or or menu or services that so a client can look at to say, okay, well, this would be right for me, intake forms to where so you can do an assessment to find out what your client might need. So that's where it just comes into play, that you need to start actively, getting certifications, different things like that, and deciding to, well, I was about to say deciding what type of a healer that you want to be, but I think you're the type of healer you are going to be already. If that makes any sense. It's not even a decision. You are a healer. You are a certain type of healer already. So, to me, I believe in synchronicity. Everything is going to be laid out for you. It was laid out for me. If it's laid out for me, it can be laid out for anybody else. It'll just be laid out. And another thing too, I had a hard time saying I'm a healer. A hard time, because you'd be like, oh, I'm a healer. That's not a title that I wanted to let slip off my lips. But my clients used to call me Dr. LaShun, or they would call me Dr. Teboh. they would call me doctor. And I'd be like, I'm not a doctor. Don't call me a doctor. But this lady told me one day, she said, you're my doctor though. Because she said, because I help her, and she said I helped her more than her own doctor had helped her. So I was her doctor. I never stopped her from calling me Dr. LaShun again. I never did. Then in another conversation with another lady, she had told me that I'm thinking of doctor in a European sense, not in the traditional sense, not in the African sense of a doctor is a practitioner or a person that helps someone to go from one space to a more desirable space in their healing of their spiritual body, physical body. So, own it. At the end of the day, just own the fact that you are a healer and say, I am a healer. Let that be one of your affirmations, because you have to believe it to actually do the work. Okay? Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Tetsania. I appreciate those comments. We've had some conversations before, so I kind of know where you're at with all of that. So if you're still wondering and asking, that means there's something pulling you. There's something guiding you. And it's just a matter of you going forward and stepping up to the plate and starting to learn things. And you can do that with the Woman of Ankh Practitioners course. And the next one starts in January the 5th, 2023. And you can go to ankacademyofholistic.healing.com and you can read more information about that. I'm going to be doing I'm going to actually be doing a Zoom meeting for questions and answers, probably around the middle of June somewhere. And then after that, I'll start taking applications and doing interviews. No, everybody cannot be a Woman of Ankh practitioner. No, they just can't. Because there's going to be a certain level of integrity, a certain level of professionalism. It's, I'm going to be creating some me's, but I want my me's to be better. Okay. And I have a high level, as far as I'm concerned with myself, I can't even think of the word that I want to use, but I hold myself to a higher standard. So that's what I will be doing with my practitioners as well, holding them to a high standard and hoping that they're going to be better than me at the end of the day. Okay? So I didn't see anything else that popped up. So thank you, ladies, for listening. I really appreciate you. And until next week, have an amazing day.